Is love scientifically quantifiable?
Well, it kind of is. In other words, certainly new love is, right?
New love.
So if we take people who are in that like obsessional, first 6 months, like, just crazy about you phase.
Fucking drool in your
right.
eyes.
And we put them in a brain scanner and show them a picture of their beloved, right? And then we image it and we look at what do we see? Well, we see that there's this part of the brain that's part of kind of the pleasure and reward circuitry. That lights up. That's and Huberman was talking about this. It's called the dopamine neurons of the ventral tegmental area. So they light up, and then we also see the prefrontal cortex of the brain, the part of the brain that's really involved in making careful, reasoned, rational decisions. That's like turned way the hell down. So what that means is like, think about this in terms of your own subjective experience of being truly, madly, deeply in love. You're going like, oh yeah, she's so great. And that sore on her lip will clear up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the other thing that happens, there's this part of the brain called the amygdala that's very involved in fear and feeling under threat. And that's also turned way down, even below normal.
Wow.
Right? Because you feel very comfortable. You feel very safe. So the interesting thing, right, is so this study was done with people who were in that truly, madly, deeply early phase.
Yeah.
So then you go to old married people who've been together for a real long time, and you ask them, you say, do you feel the same way about your partner as you did when you first met? And 19 out of 20 people will say, well, no, right? It's not that same crazy, passionate, wonderful, obsessed, got to have sex every minute thing that when we first met. It's sort of settled into a more mature, loving, kind of respectful sort of thing. But 1 out of 20 people will say, no, it's just as intense, just as passionate as always was. And I know when I heard this, I said, you're lying.
That's what I thought. This person's crazy.
Well, not just lying, they're full of shit.
Yeah, and they're pervert. They're probably
maybe they just want to
swingers.
appear a certain way.
They're swingers, David.
But they're saying this about not their piece on the side, but their long-term partner.
Got it.
And so, what happens when you put old married people in the brain scanner? Well, the 19 out of 20 people who say no, it's not the same way it was when we first met. Their amygdala is not turned down. Their prefrontal cortex is not turned down. They're seeing their partner in the cold, clear light of day with all their rational faculties. But that 1 out of 20 people that says they are truly, madly, deeply still, the brain agrees with them. In other words, their brain scan looks like someone feeling new love. And now, what do these people have that most of us don't have, and how can we get it? We don't know. Be good to bottle that.
Yeah, gosh. I'd do a couple grams of it right now, dude. I wouldn't say anything. I'd eat it. I'd put a pill under my tongue and let it, I'd do a half an 8 ball of it right now and take you to a damn Sphere show of the Grateful Dead. It'd be fun.